Yeah, welcome back. As promised, Houdini's here, Hollyweirdoz, you know what I'm saying? It is hot as fuck out here. I'm sweating my balls off making soup down there. We're gonna try to get this episode knocked out. I guess we're gonna go over a couple topics. We got a nightmare from the 90s.
Nightmares from the 90s. That's today's topic.
Yeah, we got plenty of them. But first, and foremost, before we get this shit rolling here, it's time for that shoe check. Johnny, what you got on, man? What you rocking, bro? Come on.
We got the Forrest Gumps. You remember these?
Run, Forrest.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, shit.
What you got?
I'm rocking on the van, man. You know what I'm saying?
Give me a good angle on it.
Get the good angle on there. Shit. Bam.
Come on, old timer. You can get it up there.
Bam. 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 77s.
Comment below which one you fucking with, the Forrest or the Vans.
Yeah, shit.
So back to the topic, Hollywood Weirdos. Once again, thanks for joining us. The 90s, the shoes, the Cortez, the style, the clothing, the fashion, it's popping. It's been popping for a while. The tattoo work, everything. We just wanna get down to the history of being in that area, in that era of the 90s, all the shit popping off, and some real life stories, some gangster ass stories of me and Arch living in the time. One particular story Archie has that really is caught my attention and graphic. So if you're under 18, tune out. Is when Archie was just simply making a shortcut into the alley and everything unfolded right in front of him. I'm just gonna hand it over to the homie. He's gonna take it from here.
It's basically like this, man. So, I'm walking home from the liquor store. I gotta take this alley. I live right across the street from this alley. So I gotta get over back to the house. And of course, right at this particular alley is where everybody likes to hang out, congregate. They're smoking, drinking, or whatever. I passed by, it's probably about 10 guys in this alley. One of them's like, yo, you wanted some trees. So I'll be like, all right, be right back. I'll go to the house, get it all ready. And while I'm there, I can see out of my window the other side of the alley. There's a couple guys walking down the alley. Nothing out of place or anything like that. Just two guys walking down the alley. As soon as I get to walking outside, all you hear was gunshots. It's probably about 20 gunshots. I mean, these guys were letting off. Turns out what happened is these guys were walking up to the other side of the alley, walked up and started dumping on everybody that was in the alley. And, of course, I just ducked and ran back in the house. But then to come to think about it, the girl that I was dating at the time, her brother was one of the guys in the alley. So I'm like, shit, let me go check on dude. Man, I run out there and it's like a Vietnam War scene. You got niggas laying on the left, motherfuckers on the right side of the alley, people crawling, people screaming, help me, help me. So I'm running to every guy, on the way over, making sure one of them's not the guy that I'm looking for. And everybody's like, I'm like, you all right? You all right? Guys screaming, my leg, Holmes, I got shot in the leg. I'm like, all right, this guy's cool. Run to the other guy. Oh, I got shot in my hand. Run to another guy. He's like, oh, I'm all right, dog, I'm all right. So I finally make it up into the alley, and there's somebody laying there. So I go to check on him. As soon as I look at this guy's face, man, the first thing that I noticed is that he didn't have any facial hair. And it was kind of dark out there, so, when I got to a point to where I could actually see his face, I mean, this kid had to be about 13 or 14 years old, just happened to be hanging out in the alley with the wrong people. And he was still moving, he was breathing, making some noise. I'm sitting there like, are you all right, dude? Are you okay? And he had a little tiny dot right here on his eyebrow. So you couldn't really see anything, just a little drop of blood. So I go to lift this kid's head up, and there's a hole in the back of his head the size of a giant grapefruit. And while I'm doing this, the community is coming, gathering. You got kids and parents and people just standing around, forming a circle around me, asking if he's okay. And I'm telling him, hey, call an ambulance. Somebody call somebody, man, like, I don't think this kid's gonna make it, So finally, he does like a little death rattle or whatever, and he's out. So I just kind of leave him there. And as I'm walking back across the street, there's a guy, saying, hey, man, help me. And I know this is one of the local cholos from the neighborhood. So I was like, well, what's up, man? Are you good? He's all, hey, man, I got warrants, Can you help me? He can't walk. He got shot in his foot. So he's a littler guy, so I picked him up on my shoulder, took him into the house, laid this guy on the kitchen floor, And this is, you know, the girl I was dating at the time. She's Hispanic. She's got about like 25 family members. And they're all like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, yeah, this kid got shot. I go to take off this guy's shoe, and his first toe is completely exploded. The second one's like in half, and the third one is just fucked up, and there's blood everywhere. I'm like, man, you need to and let me tell you, this is about 10, 15 minutes into the situation. We're living in the hood, not one police, no ambulance, no fire trucks, nobody's showing up at this point. And the guy says he has warrants and he can't get picked up. So sit there, try to wrap it up. The guy's bleeding through everything, didn't know what to do. Finally, I was like, dude, you know, I got to get ready. So I picked him back up. He told me to take him out there. I laid him down. Ambulance finally showed up, cleared up the scene. My chick's brother was safe. The other kid, obviously, the young dude, like, rest in peace, that dude died and wasn't a gang member, just shouldn't have been hanging around there. And for sure enough, the guy that I had brought over there, turns out he had a warrant for murder. And the funny part about this is that this guy walks with a cane and has like a special shoe on one of his feet. And
Prior to the shooting.
Prior to the shooting, you know, and turns out he was shot by the same gang members in his other foot. So now he's got two bad feet and he's in prison for life. But those are just like normal things that happen around there. You know, it's just, you never know what could happen. I could have been, you know, 3 minutes later from the store, and that could have been me up in the alley.
The reason why I chose to do this topic today is because the 90s, the fashion, the tattoos, the style is making such a comeback, and it has been for quite some time. And it's something that I really think about because, you know, me being in the era in the 90s, being young in the 90s, there's things that you can do today that you would never be able to do at the time. Let's talk tattoos. There's certain specific tattoos done in a jailhouse, black and gray, gangster style manner. If you were to walk around with one of these style tattoos in front of someone that's repping a set, a neighborhood, a gang, etc., they for sure will walk up, be like, what's up, man? Where are you from? What's up with this tattoo? You've done some time? Where did you get this tattoo? Who are you? Etc., etc. Now, if you're just a kid and you like the style, you can't do that. That is not acceptable. You will get fucked up, you will get beat up, or worse, you're just a kid, you're maybe a spray paint tagger or a skateboarder, and you wanted some 90s style ink. Basically, I'm gonna say it didn't happen because everybody knew better. If it did happen, they'll take that skateboard out of your hand and hit you over the head with it, and probably go after the guy who tattooed you next. But today, in 2019, rounding third base to 2020, you see people all over the world with that late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s style. Today, celebrities are doing it with the Pendleton style, with the one button down. That's a Cholo style. The Nike Cortez, the fashion. It's all coming from the early 1990s gangster Cholo SA style based out of Southern California. Quick story, I have a friend, shout out to the homie, he's doing life allegedly on some murder type. He got slapped with a life sentence, allegedly took a knife and went to town on someone at a bar, is what they're saying. He rolls with the Peckerwoods, the white guys, etc. That's the car he rolls with. The word car means the group, the people that you hang with, because there's a lot of segregation going on in prison, mostly coming out of the West Coast, California, Texas type thing. Out there in the East, Midwest, I guess, it's a little bit more laid back from what I hear. You know, you could interact with all sorts of different it's based on your skin. That's what I'm getting at. You know, you got these white guys, then you got the blacks, bloods, crips right here. They hang right here. You got the South Siders, the Mexicans, they're over here. You got the North Side Mexicans, they're over there. They don't like each other, North-South beef type thing. In California, these rules is just the way it is. You don't have to necessarily be racist or have any sort of ulterior motive. It's just the rules. Now my boy's a white guy and he rolls with the white car, and there's rules to that shit. You know, prior to his life sentence, you know, he's a little bit of a knucklehead. As I said, times were different in the 90s. Slapped with a few misdemeanors, couple felonies, in and out style. Before he ever went to any jail, 18 and up, not counting juvie, he decided to get something on his back. I think it was a Confederate flag or peckerwood or something like this. And this tattoo, you need to earn it inside jail by putting in work for your squad, your car. He gets to prison. They say, hey, homie, who tattooed that on your back? He said, oh, my homie from the street. This is how I feel. This is how I roll. These are my peoples. This is who I fuck with in the street. White power type shit. I don't give a fuck. How do I know him? We used to spray paint on the walls together when we were kids with some tagger shit. We all did. Me and Archie did it. We just did it. That was cool at the time. We definitely kept it quiet around the gangsters and obviously authorities. It's like a secret alter ego. You don't tell people your tag name, you just do it in the middle of the night, you sneak out of the bedroom window. They said, hold up, Wood. You can't just go get this tattoo because you think you're one of us. If you're one of us, you gotta earn this tattoo. And where do you earn it? On the inside. And now you're on the inside. So you got two options, homeboy. We take that tattoo off. And no, they didn't mean they're setting them up with a tattoo laser appointment. They taking that off. They're burning it off, cutting it off. Who knows? They're taking that tattoo if you don't earn it. Option 2, you go put in some work and you get to keep your tattoo, and then you roll with us in our car, homeboy. He's doing life. Of course he's going with option 2. What was his task? Allegedly, there was a guy in there. He's touching some kids, some pedophile type thing. I don't know. I'm not there. This is what I'm told. And it's okay to talk about it. All the actions we speak of are not incriminating. Everyone who did or partakes in some type of criminal activity, they already went to jail for it, are still in jail, or they're not living anymore. Some guy, he was in there allegedly for some pedophile type activity. They said, you got to take him out, Wood. You got this on your back. You want to be part of us? Handle it. Sure enough, guy's getting a haircut. My boy, he rolls in, tells the barber to take a hike, take a break, take a smoke break. Well, I don't know. Takes them scissors and goes to town on his neck, and that's it. He's part of the team. And that's just a little sample, a little story of how serious people take tattoos in that era, in the 90s, etc. Nowadays, you got people who are in their 20s, and they're rocking some cholo tattoos, some gangster tattoos, almost designed to look like they actually went into prison to get these tattoos. I'm talking the praying hands, I'm talking the Virgin Mary, I'm talking about smile now, cry later. These are all typical Southsider, Sureño type gangster prison tattoos that you're getting at tattoo shops here in 2019. You'd get turned down back then. You can't get those. You gotta earn those. And if you're getting them, if you're getting them today, you're 19, 20, 24, 25, you're getting them today and you fuck up and end up in prison, you might still have some old school heads, some old school cats come up to you and be like, yo, you got that at a tattoo shop, youngster? You wanna ride with us, you better go do this, go do that. They might not have you stabbing people in the neck type thing. you gotta go do something to earn them tattoos. I bring that up because nowadays, we're almost in 2020. We got hipsters wearing Pendletons with just that top button, the rest open. You couldn't walk around the street like that in the 90s. You'd get ran up on so quick. You'd get gang banged on. The definition of gang banging, if you ask me, I lived in the hood. I lived 4 blocks from Archie. We're talking about the grimy ass hood where it's poppin'. I'm talking you're walking down the sidewalk and there's gangsters tagging on the sidewalk. And you gotta go, you gotta walk over them. Excuse me, pardon me. You might see someone getting slapped the fuck up, beat the fuck up. What you do, you just stay looking forward and you just act like you don't see anything. And you're just on your dandy way to run some errands. You didn't see anything, you don't look at anything, you don't know nothing, you didn't hear nothing, etc. All of that. But sometimes you can't avoid it. The definition of gang banging is the gangsters go out. It could be daylight. It could be the middle of the night. They go out and they look to get into some violence. Like the old saying, hey man, you looking for some trouble? Yeah, that's exactly what these motherfuckers is doing, is looking for some trouble. That's gang banging. Okay, so what they want to do is drive around the surrounding areas. They want to, the border of their little area where they control. Now what they're doing is they're looking for ops. They're looking for rival gang members, people they don't get along with, other gangsters from other neighborhoods they don't get along with. Their agenda is to jump out the car, maybe shoot out the car window, cap one of them, get out bats, knives, fuck them up. What that's doing, what that style of gang banging is doing, because there's so many levels to gang banging. There's the money, the underground money through drugs and stealing and chop shops and you name it, they're doing it. Selling this and flipping that. But for a gang to get their reputation is putting their name in people's mouth. So they go fuck up some other gangsters. Maybe one of them catches a bullet. Maybe he dies, maybe he gets stabbed up. What happens is the gangsters who shot, stabbed, beat up some other gangsters, that gang, it's buzzing in the streets. It's buzzing in the streets. They're vicious, man. They're violent. Don't fuck with you. See them, you go the other way. There's definitely gonna be a part 2 to Nightmares from the 90s. I'm a little kid. They're jumping me into the neighborhood. They're making me jump in cars and put in work. And I don't want this life. I'm all about what was it, 94, 93? I'm all about going to raves, hanging with Archie, hanging with girls, chasing girls, getting high, doing drugs, partying, staying up all night. All the stuff I'm into, none of it is me trying to be a tough guy, be part of a gang. But again, they come to you. Sometimes you're in an alley, and they're in an alley, and there's another gang on the other side of the alley. And what happens when you're in the middle of the two? Now with that said, we're gonna take a trip down to memory lane. The year is 1993, 94. Young Arch Houdini is simply walking down the alley, taking a shortcut to his house. I think he was staying somewhere around 27th Street. Yeah, I know, you say, hey Johnny, you're born and raised in Los Angeles. What are you doing talking about stories over here by the border in San Diego? I was about 14, 15, something like that, and my mom said, hey, we're going to San Diego. Me and all my 17 brothers and sisters, I don't know. We're going to San Diego for some reason or other, and when I stayed there, I lived there till about maybe 18, 19, I came right back to Los Angeles. This is where I'm from. I had some great times in San Diego, but man, oh man, the 90s in Southeast San Diego, if you remember them, you know what I'm saying. If you want to hear about them, it was before your time type shit, definitely keep listening.
Yeah. Okay.